Yat welcome to Native Lifestyle Balance Session 12, the slippery slope of lifestyle changes. I'm Ross Barber with Carol Percy. Today we're going to talk about the slips, times when you do not follow your plan for healthy eating or being active. However, before we talk about the slip, let's review your progress. Carol, can you tell us about Betty's weight and activity this week?
I can tell you that Betty is really excited because she lost 2 more pounds. This week, Betty weighs 192 pounds. She thinks she lost weight because she had the weekend to herself. Betty's husband and kids took Betty's parents to the rodeo in Albuquerque. Betty doesn't care for the rodeo, so she had the weekend to herself. The weather was beautiful, so she walked 60 minutes each day on Saturday and Sunday. She ate at home all weekend. Usually she eats out at least once a week on a weekend. Since the kids were gone, she wasn't tempted to snack when she saw the kids snacking. With eating at home and less snacking, Betty was able to stay below her fat gram goal of 42 grams of fat every day this week, including on the weekend. So let's graph Betty's weight. Put today's date down here. And then Betty today weighed 192 pounds. So you want to graph your weight. Here's 190 and 191, 192. So for Betty, we're going to move over to the new column and graph 192 pounds. Good job, Betty. Let's graph Betty's activity. In addition to the 120 minutes of walking over the weekend, Betty walked with a coworker on both her work breaks every day this week. The work break walking gave her 150 minutes more of walking for a total of 270 minutes of walking this week. So let's graph Betty's activity. Again, write today's date at the bottom of the next weekly line. And so we're going to go up and find 270. So here we are at 150 minutes of activity, and then we'll go up, and here's 270. So look at how much activity Betty did this week. That's awesome. Betty feels really good about her activity after her success this week. On the days Betty was trying to work through her break, her coworker reminded Betty that they planned to walk together.
Session 7 was the last time we formally looked at our progress towards our goal. 5 weeks have gone by since then, so let's evaluate where Betty and you stand today. First, write down what changes you made to be more active. Betty is walking on work breaks and walking for at least 30 minutes on weekends. She actually enjoys walking now and misses walking on her work breaks on the days that she's too busy to take a break at work. Next, let's look what changes you made to eat less fat and fewer calories. Betty is eating fruits and vegetables several times a day now, and this is really different from what she first started the program. At that time, she barely managed 1 fruit and vegetable each day. Her bread serving of tortilla, biscuits, and fried bread are smaller. Betty is also eating fried potatoes less often. Betty has eliminated all drinks with sugar like soda or juice. She drinks a lot more water than she used to. Because of keeping track, she feels she knows a lot more about what food are high in fat and calories. Being aware had helped Betty eat healthier snacks of fruits and raw vegetable at work. Of course, she has to plan ahead and pack the cut up vegetable in her lunch bag. Betty is on track with her 7% weight loss. So here's the line, and she's below the line on how am I doing graph. Check how am I doing graph to find out if you have reached your week 12 weight goal. If you have reached your week 12 weight goal, check yes. If you're not quite at your weight goal, check no and keep on trying.
Betty also exceeded her activity goal this week, walking 270 minutes, so she gets to check yes. Check yes if you've been active for 150 minutes or more this past week. Check no if your weekly activity was less than 150 minutes. Two problems Betty had this week were that a neighbor's dog chased her when she was out walking on Sunday, and that really scared her because she was walking by herself. She is worried her fear of the dog might keep her from walking near her house in the future. As far as her eating, Halloween candy's in the grocery store, and she is worried she will overeat candy or eat her kids' candy after trick-or-treating and then regain some of her lost weight. Before Betty problem solves these issues, let's talk a bit more about slips like eating a child's Halloween candy.
Slips are times when you do not follow your plan for healthy eating or physical activity. Slips is a normal part of lifestyle change, just like falling down is a normal part of skiing. If you ski, you are going to fall sometimes. All skier falls from time to time, and everyone who set out to lose weight and be more active will slip. Slips are to be expected. If you are not yet slip, you will almost certainly have slip in the future. Slip happens.
Does this sound discouraging? Well, it does not have to be, because slips do not hurt your progress. What hurts your progress is the way you react to slips. So today we will talk about the best way to react to slips when they happen. Let's take the example of driving your truck on an icy road. When the truck starts to skid, if you slam on the brake or turn the steering wheel away from the skid, you end up in the ditch. But if you take your foot off the gas pedal slowly, slow down the truck, or turn slightly into your skid, the truck usually straightens out and you have avoided an accident.
Everyone has different reasons for slipping. Moods and feelings may cause many people to slip from a healthy eating. Some of us intend to overeat when we are happy. Imagine that your family is celebrating a birthday. There is plenty of everybody's favorite food, from chips to dessert. For years, your family custom has been to have fun, relax, and overeat at birthday parties. You know that your sister will bring your favorite dish to the party, your chicken enchiladas, and you usually overeat by taking at least 2 servings.
Another person might overeat when they are bored. Yesterday I was watching a football game and I made a big bowl of popcorn, and I mindlessly ate the whole bowl of popcorn without thinking. In addition, I got angry because my team lost, so I baked some brownies and ate 2 to make myself feel better. Making brownies when I'm mad is one of my learned life habits, and it has become normal for me to bake brownies to decrease my anger.
The situation that leads to slip differs from person to person. For example, when bored, one person tends to eat, somebody else gets involved in a hobby. At a party, one person is so busy talking and laughing that he forgets to eat, but someone else focuses on goodies and overeats.
One of my favorite native lifestyle balance sayings is in the green box on page 5. Overeating once, no matter how extreme, will not ruin everything. How true is that? The slip is not the problem. How we react is the problem. When you slip, you have several options for getting back on track and moving towards your goals. If I tell myself I'm a failure for eating the brownies, I'll have a harder time getting back on track. If I own up to the overeating of brownies, get back on my feet, and eat less at my next meal, I have a chance to succeed.
Slips are learned habits, making them difficult to avoid completely. When you slip, you have several options for getting back on track and moving towards your goal. It sounds like Carol needs to learn from last week and talk back to her negative thoughts about overeating popcorn and brownies with positive thoughts. Carol, you could say, I'm not a failure because I slipped. I will get back on my feet again.
That's a good reminder, Roz. The second thing is to ask yourself what happened, kind of like brainstorming and problem solving. Was it a special occasion? Is it likely to happen again soon? Did you overeat because you were lonely, bored, or depressed? Did you eat because of social pressure? Did you skip activity because you were too busy with other things or because of work and family pressures? The solution to the slip will depend on how you answer these questions. I can tell you my favorite football team is not very good this year, so it is very likely that next week they could lose again. So I need to make a plan so I stop making brownies when my team loses next.
It's also important to regain control as soon as you can. Try not to say, well, I blew it for the day. I'm just going to have to continue to overeat today. If you wait until the next day to start following your eating plan again, you'll decrease your chance of success. Right now, after you overeat, make your next meal a healthy one or get back on the schedule with your activity plan right away.
Talk to someone supportive. Try to talk it through, not eat it through. Find someone who recognizes the progress you have made and avoid someone who criticizes your efforts. This supportive person can help you think of new strategies to handle your slips and encourage your efforts.
Finally, focus on all the positive change you wrote down earlier and realize that you can get back on track. The same person who blew it today is the same person who will successfully during many previous weeks. Slip do not reveal you with a no willpower. Slip are simply a behavior that can be changed.
Here are some tips about slips. Learn from your slip. You can then plan how to handle the situation better next time. Think about how you can avoid similar situations. For example, I could decide not to buy a new box of brownie mix. If you cannot avoid a situation, think about how you can manage it in a better way. To avoid taking seconds of Roz's sister's chicken enchiladas at the next birthday party, Roz might serve the food at the party and there might not be enough enchiladas left for her to take seconds.
Remember two things. One, slips are normal and to be expected. Almost everyone who is on the way to losing weight and being more active has slips. A slip does not need to lead to giving up completely. Slips are useful learning experience. Number two, know one time of overeating or not being active, no matter how extreme, will ruin everything. You will not gain more than a few pounds of weight even after the biggest eating binge imaginable, unless you stay off track and keep overeating time and time again. The slip is not the problem. The problem occurs only if you avoid the scale and keep overeating. Instead, get back on your feet again and keep going towards your goals.
Your to-do list for this week includes problem-solving one eating and activity challenge. Take the time right now to problem solve and make an action plan for a slip from healthy eating. As an example, remember earlier Betty is worried that Halloween is coming and she will overeat candy and reverse the weight loss progress she has made? Betty loves those mini candy bars, all flavors, and knows from past experience that after Halloween night, she keeps her kids' leftover bags in the cupboard to control when they can eat the rest of their candy. But she tends to sneak eat some of the candy bars and when their bags are in the cupboard. So let's write down what might cause Betty to slip from eating. Halloween mini bars, and eating her kids' Halloween candy. So how could she avoid overeating candy at Halloween this year? She could buy bubble gum this year to give out instead of the mini candy bars because she doesn't really like bubble gum. She might ask her husband to be the candy police this year and not tell her where he is keeping the leftover bags of candy. She could give herself permission to eat just one mini candy bar each day instead of several. So let's write those ways that Betty might avoid this problem in the future. Bubble gum, husband candy police, eat just one. Betty decides she will buy the bubble gum. She's going to the grocery store on Saturday, so she will buy it then, so she's sure the store does not run out. When? On Saturday. First, she needs to explain to her family why they're giving out bubble gum this year and ask for their support. So tell the family why giving out bubble gum. Roadblocks that might come up. Betty might be tempted to eat one of her kids' candy bars, and so she's going to buy some strawberries, and when she's tempted to eat one of her kids' candy bars, she will eat a strawberry instead. So tempted, buy candy bar, eat strawberries. She will sneak only one candy bar a day when tempted. So the tempting has continued to be the roadblock. To make her success more likely, she will put a calendar on the refrigerator, and when she eats a candy bar, she will write it down for her family to see. Okay, Betty thinks she's going to do this to make her success more likely.
Oh gee, I hope Betty's plan works, because I know I stole my kids' Halloween candy in the past too. Halloween is a real challenge. For the slip from being active, let's help Betty problem solve her fear of being bitten by the neighbor's dog when walking, because Betty wants to keep up her success of walking. How could Betty avoid getting bitten in the future? She could walk a different direction. She could walk at the track in town rather than at her house. She could carry a squirt bottle or a big stick to arm herself against the dog. She could talk to the neighbor and ask them to fence the dog or tie up the dog. Since Betty has talked to the neighbor before, she thinks she will try the water bottle. She has a water bottle with a skirt cap, so she can fill that up and take it with her next walk. Roadblock might come up. She needs to practice using the squirt bottle so she doesn't miss the dog's face. She will not be ready with the water bottle when the dog charges. She will try talking to the dog loudly to warn it off. On the second thought, maybe she should walk a different direction. To make her success more likely, she will ask her husband alone the next walk to give her some advice on using the water bottle and intimidating the dog.
Try out your action plans this next week. Keep track of your eating activity and weight, evaluate your action plan, and if they did not work, make a new plan. Remember, slips are normal and to be expected. Learn from your slips and how to manage your slips in a better way.
Next week is session 13 and we will change our focus back to activity. The session is called Jumpstart Your Activity Plan. Have a great week. 好，过年。